Okay. Hopefully. Sorry about that, everyone. Little technical glitch there. Apologies. Let's start. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay. Glitch there. I'm just going to do the usual. Share. Okay. Twitter. It's all right this time. I don't know why they can't make it simpler. There sure is a way to make this simpler. And a face cloth. A few minutes late, ladies and gents. I'm on pedal hard. Okay, guys, that's it sorted. Right. Hello, everyone. Darren Retro. Israel Diego Rivera 2 Genius 2. Nothing as it seems. Cosmic Claire. Hi, Claire. How do I do this? Alright, I'm trying to work out how to... I'm trying to appoint a moderator here. It's not differently. Diego Rivera, I will not be silenced by Cosmic Claire. Diego Rivera, Claire is not the type to silence anyone, believe me or not. So don't worry about that. But like I said, everyone in this chat box has to be polite to everyone else. I know you and Claire have had a bit of a tiff. So I'll just asking everyone to be on their best behaviour tonight. But honestly, Claire is somebody who is not... She will not silence anyone. She's a free speech extremist, just like I am. So I don't believe she's trying to silence you. Steve071, hello. Al McCall, Tina, Legend Real, Bumbelina, Michelle Sovereign, Woody Black, The Crafty Nihilist, both of you. Hi, how's it going? Lime Specs, I'm not here. Oh right, who's that there then? If it's not you, then Lime Specs. And TK, hello. I actually put written replies to your comments on the live stream notice. Darren was asking about me using iTunes for my Panmo radio, and that's not a bad idea, isn't it? Claire, except when it's abuse. That's fair enough, Claire. If if people are being abusive and rude, yeah, you got every right to block them. If I spot anyone being rude and abusive in this chat, I promise you, they're gone. So, but I know you are not the type to silence people. So, I don't. If Diego Rivera says you're trying to silence him, then I don't accept that. I think that's not like you. It's out of character for you. So I don't accept what he's saying. Clopite, how's the weather in Oxford? Really hot. Really hot. I got sunburnt today at work. I'm gonna have to put like a what's the word? I'm gonna have to put like a Legionnaire's hat on tomorrow, I think, because I'm out all day in it. Lime Specs, it's too warm, isn't it? Yeah. I'll just double check I'm recording. Yes, I am. It's like I've got a fan on. You might hear some noise. There's like some air blowing. I've got a fan on. It's just too hot in here otherwise. It's really roasting hot here in Oxford. I only had I didn't have to work very much today, but tomorrow I got a long day's work, so I don't like using sun cream, but I'll wear a Legionnaire's hat. TK, free will is definitely real. I'm glad, TK. You know, I've been trying to find out. Claire is writing an article. She's very kindly allowed me a preview of it, which I read through. I don't know if it's quite complicated. I think I'm going to have to read it a few times, but it is nice that there is actually a case for free will, which I found. Crafty Nihilist says, is this live stream about a killer whale in captivity? I missed the Y at the end, didn't I? Yes. Hello, Cocky. How are you? Yeah, you've got a fan too, Lime Specs. They blow hot air around the room. Well, if you're blowing hot air, then it's that you're using the wrong fan. Using a fan heater. You don't want this time of year. User 1, hello. The hot weather's going to last a week. Well, who knows what the weather forecast is these days. Steve071, I thanks Steve. I had a lovely time at Devices at the Basis Project Conference. You've seen the videos I did, yeah. But I wanted to basically to have a discussion with you guys about the issue that I raised in the free will video, because I was really finding it difficult to defend free will. Now, Claire's written an article, which she's going to be publishing soon. Maybe I'd need to do a separate... I think I'd have to do a separate video about the article, because it's quite complex. But it's I did read through the article. I'll have to read it a few times, though, I think, Claire. That's not criticism of you. I think that's... basically, if I can summarise it, Claire was saying that there is actually a value. The universe actually does have a moral value. The article focused very much on the ethical side of things. Hello, David Schultz. Greetings. Cloudy and damp in Maine. Oh, it's not like that here. Gary Robinson. Hello. Hot here in the north of Mexico. I can barely go outside. You've got aircon. Good, I'm glad. Oh, Claire, I can read excerpts. Teleology is the thing. Yeah, I've... Claire, I might have to maybe save that for a separate video, because I'll need to read it properly and go through all the points, because it's quite complicated. But I did have a read through it. Meaning and purpose different from Newtonian causality. This is what I think. This is interesting. Teleology, I suppose, comes from telos. That means an intent. That is actually an objective. So the telos, for example, the telos of a Panbo is to stop the New World Order, and so it implies some kind of intelligent moral choice or decision. But I will definitely, Claire. I appreciate you sending me the preview, and I'll probably have to. Maybe I can read through it properly. Maybe do a separate video on that, on your entire article. After you've published it, maybe I'll give people a chance to read it. Everyone who watches my channel to get a chance to read it. But I do. Hello, Paul Armstrong. How are you? I was just thinking that you could, if the universe actually has, in a sense, an intelligence which has a purpose, then that I think is where you were going with your article. Based on the initial reading of it. TK says, and kind of depend on your interpretation of QM. What's QM? Sorry. Is David Splendid Isolation here? Because he was always saying that determinism is real, and see, the thing is, I was finding it hard to get round that. I said that there was quantum mechanics. Well, funny enough, TK, that Sabine Hossenfelder, she did a video. It's a short video on free will. She's a determinist. She was saying that all quantum mechanics does is create randomness. However, Dean Radin and what he worked about quantum mechanics, his work on quantum mechanics, indicated that if your intention, mental intention, can alter quantum permutations. Yes, Sabine Hossenfelder, she's very much a skeptic. I mean, I found her video. I've subbed to her channel because she's done a video on Oumuamua. I think she's a bit too much. She's very much a skeptic. I'm more a woo. I mean, when I say woo, I mean, this is one thing that Claire mentioned in her article, was when I talk about woo, I'm kind of making it too easy to dismiss what I'm saying. I think that comes down to terminology, because I'm kind of a. I mean, I myself am a dualist in that respect. When I say, it's just a terminology. I think it was Paul Armstrong that got me using woo, the word woo. It's a common skeptic term, but that wasn't my intention to mislead people just by using that word. It really wasn't. So maybe I can use a different term is better. But my point was that that dualism itself is not an explanation for free will. It simply pushes the matter back further. I think you do address that in the article. What I should have done, Claire, is I should have maybe spent a couple of hours reading it, and I'd have got more understood it better. But Cosmic Claire says, Penrose and Hameroff, quantum influence on neurons. Yeah, they Stuart Hameroff, who looks a bit like my friend Barry, the guy who passed my test I talked about in my Stephen Molyneux video, He's like an anaesthetist at a hospital. He's a clinical anaesthetist, but he's now doing research into quantum mechanics, and his thesis is the brain is a form of quantum computer. Roger Penrose, who I've seen in other videos, he was actually in that Soul Searching, which funnily enough, that Soul Searching, I managed to rip it from the DVD, and I've actually published it. Now, I don't think there's a copyright issue there because it's very old. It's not commercially available, so I put it on Facebook. I'm not going to put it up on YouTube, but I put it up on Facebook, and I think someone shared it to Vimeo as well. So it's out there now. Alex Ritchie says, "Hi Ben, looking forward to Watford. Thanks for agreeing to sign of nature of my book. I won't sell it when we win. I promise. You can if you want. It'll be worth a lot of money, Alex. I wouldn't put you past selling it, but it'll be good to see you there, mate. I'm looking forward to Watford, yeah. Hello, Bog Gamer 4. TK, she's hard as hell with facts. She even did a video about you, Ben, conspiracy theorist. Did she? I've not seen that video. I mean, I've seen her video on free will and her video on Oumuamua. If you haven't seen her, she's this German lady who does science videos on YouTube. They're quite short. They're always about 10 minutes or so. But they pack a lot of information in. But they say things from the kind of skeptic point of view. Claire, the article's quite long. It is, yes. Obviously, some articles have to be long. There are no soundbite answers to the complicated questions of meaning. And so I wouldn't expect you to précis it into a single paragraph. I look forward to maybe when you've published it, having a right look through it and reading it properly, and maybe do another video about it, because I've got a feeling this is not going to be the end of the matter when it comes to free will. But TK says yes, she rips conspiracy theorists to pieces. Oh, does she? Well, we'll see about that, TK. Diego Rivera, God does not play dice. That's a quote from Einstein, yeah. Well, you see, maybe he doesn't. You see, maybe in Claire's article, she was actually saying that the universe is not just a soulless machine. The universe itself has meaning. There's like an ethical telos to the universe. It actually has a purpose. She quotes C.S. Lewis, several other people as well, and if that's the case, then quantum mechanics can be a real thing, and God doesn't have to play dice. TK, all right. Well, I will have a look at. Does she actually mention me specifically? Cocky says, "Have you seen the new David Kelly doc by George Galloway yet, Ben?" Dr. David Kelly? No, I haven't. Does he like accept that there's something suspicious about his death? Cosmic Claire says, "Open YouTube Studio from left-click settings and community for the automated filters tab and clicks Mopra. Insert the name you want." All right, okay, no problem. Actually, here we go. Okay. Actually, it says it add moderator. Oh, Claire, I've done it. I think I've done it. I just did it. So I was clicking the wrong button. I clicked a tab at the side. You should now be a moderator. Diego Rivera, both determinism and free will are true, just on different levels. To me, Diego Rivera, I think they're kind of contradictory. I don't see how they can be true on different levels. I mean, funnily enough, that's from the line from Forrest Gump. Did you ever see the film Forrest Gump? It's a wonderful movie, actually. I found it utterly absorbing. But at the end, he's standing by basically his wife dies, and he stands by her grave, and he says, "I don't know if things are just random, or whether it's all meant to be, or maybe both going on at the same time." So Diego Rivera, I can't really see how. I'm afraid I don't see how these two apparently opposites, these two contradictory visions of the universe, can both be true on different levels. If you can explain more detail, that's finally cases. Claire, I can actually you've got the moderator spanner next to your name, so I think you are a moderator now. I think I've been needing to appoint someone as moderator, because especially on the ones where the live streams where I've got a long lead off, because Basically the comments run away from me. I can't do it all myself. Mad Boy Gamer says, is it true Boris Johnson and the government are lizards and a part of the New World Order? Yes, Mad Boy Gamer, but that's a subject for another video. TK, thanks. Send it over for me, please, mate. I'd be interested to hear what she has to say. Hello, Neil. How are you? I'm as crazy as ever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Steve-O71, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It's a very quotable film, isn't it? But he says the same thing as Diego Rivera. Forrest Gump says both are going on at the same time. Hello, Sorenable, how are you? Cocky says, don't allow Claire to block people. Well, if somebody's rude, or if somebody fed posts, like puts things on there designed to affect my community status, which people do sometimes, I need somebody who will do that if I'm not focusing on the chat. I need somebody in chat who I can trust. Claire is someone I know very well. She is. I've met her in real life. I've had a lot of conversations with her. She's someone I consider trustworthy. I don't believe she'll block someone unless they deserve it. I don't believe she'll moderate. I think she's fair. Like I said, she believes in free speech. That's why I've appointed Claire moderator. Is David Splendid Isolation here? I don't. So basically, Claire, I think the point is, if the universe is alive, then it in itself has a meaning. It's created with meaning. That meaning allows for free will. The universe itself creates free will. It could be. That's the case. I need some. Is someone going to come here and stand up for someone come here? I want to talk about David Splendid Isolation. He knows all about determinism. You see, he's the guy who puts out the entire thing on. If he doesn't turn up, I'm going to have to go to Facebook and just look up the inbox he sent me. Let's have a look. TK says, well, I was discussing this with some guy in your comments, Ben, and now he's gone quiet as his own deterministic universe has bitten him. Maybe it's not choice, you see. Something is determined for him to do things. But it's a point. I think you bring this up in the article. If something happens in the universe and it's just random, then you wouldn't expect anything like the kind of things we see in behaviour of especially living creatures, like humans and other intelligent beings. You wouldn't see that. Neil says, I believe the universe has the ability to think and make clear decisions. Yeah. Kevin Green, maybe we are the meaning. All right, I'm going to have to go. I was hoping he would be here, and he's not. Where is he? All right, I'm going to have to go to his inbox. Right. David, here we go. I'll just find him on Facebook. Right. Where did he say? He did actually send... I'll go to Messenger. Hang on. I'll open this in Messenger. Where was he? He gave me a long list of... Hang we are. Okay. David, do you mind me reading from the inbox? Oh God, it's not here. Where was it? I think it was a comment, wasn't it? It's not in his inbox. Bog Gamer 4YT says, is it coming home next year? You're talking about football again? Oh man, don't mention football. TK, cause and effect doesn't exist in the deterministic universe, or what they call the block universe. You'd have a kind of Claire, free will is a bad term. You've often said, you said in the article, it doesn't actually mean anything. The term free will doesn't actually mean what we've said. Cocky says, Ben, moderators tend to block people for their own personal reasons. I don't think Claire will do that, knowing what I do about Claire. At the same time, I do need some. If I don't have a moderator, I'm finding it very, very difficult to police the chat for trolls and present the show. So I do need to appoint some kind of moderator. Darren says, kind of true. We're all part of the universe, e.g. we're made of the stars, carbon-based life form. Therefore, we're part of the universe that is aware of itself and making decisions. Cause and effect doesn't exist in the deterministic universe, or what they call the block universe. Diego Vera, no free will on this chat. Well, what is going on then? See, do you believe C. Macy's collective consciousness? Now, is that going into the Jungian collective unconscious? Is a very interesting thing. But what about the what about consciousness? Like I think maybe someone could dispute with me that consciousness and free will are two separate debates. It's possible if determinism were real, it's possible to be conscious yet be affected by determinism, because consciousness is simply the sense of existence, which is maybe like the fundamental thing that separates living creatures from inanimate objects, would be the qualia. David Schultz says, would you say it depends on one's karma? Well, karma is an interesting thing, because I've actually noticed karma. I believe it exists. I believe that there is some kind of justice. There's a divine force of justice in the universe. I found that my actions have effects on myself. So if I once got angry with a friend of mine and poured a can of beer over his head, and then I walked down a road and someone came and punched me in the face, literally less than a minute later, and it just felt that those two events felt connected. Cocky, Ben, the power is already going to Claire's head. Now, honestly, I wouldn't make Claire moderator on this. I knew her well enough to know that that's actually not what is the case. I don't think we can trust Claire to be objective here. It's just I do need someone to be moderator. Next time I might appoint if she comes back to the next live stream, I'll probably make a moderator again. I just need somebody I know and can trust and know well enough to trust to look after the chat box when I can't. It's not a problem really for this particular live stream, simply because I don't really have a lead off, but I might have to go and read some resources. I don't know. John Nolan, it's the Germans, Ben. Where is it, Michael, these days? Right, is free will the German conspiracy? Michael Shrimpton, we should ask him about free will. Claire, Cosmic Claire, I'm extremely flattered, Ben. Honestly, Claire, I just know you, that's all. I think I can trust you. I think you are someone I hold in high regard in that matter. There are maybe other people I can trust. If someone else turns up I can trust, then I will make them moderator on a future show if necessary. But you're probably the one I'd want to make moderator, yeah. TK, anything alive has some form of consciousness and therefore some sort of free will. Good question. I mean, does an ant have consciousness? Does it have free will? See, in a sense, even if it has consciousness of some type, it may not necessarily have free will. I think these two things are separate for reasons I explained in the last video. On the subject of consciousness of non-human living things, this is impossible to answer. I mean, there's I think Wittgenstein, who was a hospital porter, pride and dignity, right? Ludwig Wittgenstein said, "What's it like to be a bat?" And the thing is, you don't know unless you are a bat. But even the moment you say, "What's it like to be," and you refer to something else, you're imparting consciousness on that being. You're imparting consciousness on that particular being. Which in a sense is you're admitting the bat is conscious. I mean, I work a lot with dogs. I don't have my own dog, but I take dogs for walks and things like that quite a lot as part of my duties, because I basically look after people's houses and things like that. It's my job. I clean the house, do the gardening, and take the dogs for walks and things like that. And I often look at dogs and I think to myself, what's it like to be a dog? I think that there is an answer to that, because I think dogs have a being. I mean, there's this idea that consciousness is unique to humans. I don't think it is, because certain animals appear to have what humans have in terms of a personality and awareness. And I can't speak for all species because we just don't know. But there's certain species who we can communicate with. Dogs are definitely have self-awareness. They have the ability to think internally. In other words, they have a personality. They have an ability to communicate even if they can't speak. Really, it's simply the power of language is the one thing that I think makes them something other than another human. If they could speak, we just assume that they were conscious. We assume other people are conscious because they can speak to us. But really, if you take language out of the equation, there's no real difference between an interaction with a dog and with a human. I know this young girl. There's this friend of my daughter's had an older sister who couldn't speak. She can't speak. She still can't. I think she's an adult now. She just can't speak. But she's alive. She's a human being. She has a brain. It's obviously defective in some ways, but it still works. And she had a low mental age and she couldn't speak, but she is. I treat her as self-aware. I treated her as a conscious being, and really, I would say the same about a dog. There's nothing when I'm talking to a dog that when you look at them, they look at you. You pat them on the head and they sort of like they narrow their eyes, indicating I'm happy. They wag their tails. I mean, they're alive. They're conscious. Hello, DJB2. How are you? Kevin Green says, I don't really see karma as a tool of justice, but rather as a provider of learning opportunities. Yes, it is really. I think I learned an awful lot from my experience of losing my temper. In a sense, my anger reached such a point that I essentially lost control of myself. And that, in a sense, I think I learned a lot from that. Funny thing is, after I had this experience, after this bloke punched me in the face, I went round to my friend's house and apologised, and he apologised to me. DJ B2, Michael will just blame the Bundesnachrichtendienst, Gott in Himmel! Oh, remember Sabine Hoffenfelder? She's German, isn't she? She's German, Michael, yes! She works for the DVD! Cocky's is watching the Watcher. You've really got an issue, haven't you, with this, with having a moderator? But normally it would just be me, Cocky. Do you trust me to be fair? If you trust me to be fair, you can trust Claire. Where are we now? TK, of course it's conscious. Animals are conscious 100%. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, some animals are very obviously conscious. When you get into things like insects and creatures like what's it like to be an ant? What's it feel like to be an ant? I don't know. I think you'd have to be one to know. I wouldn't mind being a dog for a day, you know, just to find out what it's like. As long as I can come back to being human afterwards. I'll be a dog for a day, just to know what it's like. There's literally no other way we can know. It's possible we have past lives as different species, and possibly... I don't believe we're always human. It's possible, like, with our various... Seen as humans, you know, the presence of humans in the universe is limited in terms of time, so it's quite likely we have had past lives as different beasts, different beings. I mean, we may even have been robots, like Dolores Cannon says. Dolores Cannon... It was amazing. She was a channeler that tapped past lives, but she didn't go into trance herself. She put people into trance, and they channeled for her and discovered their past lives. And she would just hypnotise ordinary people, and they would come out with amazing things. They'd remember past lives as being robots on a distant planet. Claire says, I fell out with my tutor in uni because he didn't like me saying that dogs have consciousness. Claire, I think it's got a lot to do with the way society generally treats non-human animals. A lot of people, you see, it's in a sense, they come up with things like the spot test. It's essentially so they can kind of get out of facing the fact that in many societies, we animals are treated very badly. I mean, obviously it varies from different people, but the idea that dogs have consciousness, people find uncomfortable, even though it's very obvious that they do. DJ B2, my cats all have different personalities. Yeah, I know, my daughter's cats, I've been feeding my daughter's cats, and they're both very different. One is very, very friendly and comes up and wants to play, and the other one hides from me. TK, a dog could be knocked unconscious. Yeah, dogs can also suffer from brain damage. That if they're whacked on the head, or if they suffer from a stroke or something, they can have personality changes. One friend of mine had to, unfortunately, had his dog put to sleep because this dog had an injury. He was hit by a car, seemed all right, however, started growling at the kids and things like that. Experienced a massive personality change, and became very aggressive with the children. And it turned out that he had he'd had a hematoma in the brain, which had caused this. Hello, Michelle Sovereign. My cat is vindictive. Cats can be. They really can be, yeah. DJ Buto, my cat is very good at communicating what she wants. Yeah, cats are very good at getting round people. They know pester power. You see, unfortunately, the scientific studies indicates that cats are not terribly sentimental creatures. They don't really feel any sort of affinity with a human. As long as there is a human to look after them, they don't really mind who it is. Oh, dogs, on the other hand, are like children. They become very emotionally attached to their owners. John Nolan. Well, one now has the free will to wear a mask or not to. Well, from tomorrow, yeah. Although maybe it's determined, you see. Well, according to Sajid Khan, or Sad Git Khan, as Claire calls him, he doesn't want people to have any free will on the London Underground, does he? Yeah. DJ Buto says cats frown. They do, don't they? I've seen them. They go like that. They go. There's a lot of facial expression in a cat, actually. It's very much like a human. Diego Rivera, sad to see Ben follow the censorship line. Diego Rivera, who censored you? When have you been censored? Please point to that, will you? Cosmic Claire, ants don't have the same structures in their nervous system like vertebrates. No limbic system, no feelings as we understand them. Yeah, they have a very different kind of... They're smaller, they have a more simple nervous system, yeah. However, because they're very tiny, but what's it like to be an ant? I mean, ants seem to be able to make decisions. Like if you put if you put like an obstacle in their path, they'll walk around it. Are they aware of the problem and they're making decisions? TK, the state of being aware and of response to one's surroundings. Well, you could be aware, yet not have free will. Have you ever seen Being John Malkovich? I mentioned this in the other video, in the background video. Being John Malkovich is a very, very interesting film. It's like I suppose it's a black comedy, really. It's very good. It's written by Charlie Kaufman, the same writer who did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which I have actually reviewed. Maybe I should do a review of that particular film, because so actually let me know if you've seen it. I'm curious to see how many of you've seen it. I don't want to say too much if too many of you haven't seen it, but it involves a man. When it ends, Cosmic Claire, have you seen it? It is creepy. It is a bit creepy, I suppose. The ending has a man trapped. He's trapped in someone else's body. I can't go into details now because it's all very complicated. But he ends up as a Malkovich. Oh, you've seen it, Tina, haven't you? They're singing Malkovich. Everything's Malkovich in that scene when Malkovich goes into his own portal. Yeah. DJ Beauty, you saw Being John Malkovich a long time ago. Yep, it's what's interesting. Sorry. Crafty Nihilist says, I want to be moderator, and so does my wife. Yes. Well, in a sense, oddly enough, the character in Being John Malkovich is a bit like you, Crafty Nihilist. They're two souls in the same body. They're a gestalt entity. However, the problem is that the man's soul has no control over the body. The man's soul is essentially a passenger. Yeah, he's a passenger trapped in the body of this young girl. The girl has her own soul, and she's unaware of this passenger soul that's also within the body. Yet, and so she's not aware. She can't communicate. He can't communicate either. He's trapped. He's literally trapped as a helpless viewer. A helpless. He has access to her sense organs. He can see, taste, touch everything she can. But he cannot act. He has no control. It's a nightmarish scenario, and he's stuck like that for the entire duration of this girl's lifetime. It is an absolutely nightmarish scenario when you think about it. It's a good film. It's a good film. However, I know that the Crafty Nihilist is not like that. The Crafty Nihilist, it's two souls with equal control over the body, I think. Yeah. So where are we now? Arya Satya. Hello, Arya. How are you? Did you do a... Were you on Millennial Woes once? I think you were once, didn't you? You did a show with Millennial Woes. Charlie Kaufman is a great writer. He also did Synecdoche, New York. I've not seen that, but I've seen two of his films, and I think they're both really good. I would like to watch some more. I'd like to watch some more of what he did, yeah. It's worth watching because it's kind of about that. It's a kind of like it's very funny, very it is a kind of very dark and sometimes quite tasteless comedy. But it makes me laugh at times. Morgoth's review. That's it, Area. Yeah, I saw you with Morgoth. That's it. It's dark and tasteless at times, but it's very funny at other times, and it has this very concept about the soul and the nature of being, because basically the characters find a way to enter enter the experience of another person's life. This is John Malkovich, the actor who plays himself in they actually become. You can actually find out what it's like to be him by kind of becoming him, and for a short time, and then you can only do it for like about 5 minutes, and then you come out again. But it's all kinds of things happen. In the end, this John Malkovich has a daughter, and what the main character played by John Cusack ends up trapped as a passenger soul in this body. 69 Fuki, is it on the web? It might be on Amazon or Netflix, I'm not sure. Netflix seems to be deleting everything that's good and putting a load of degenerate trash on their platform. But Aria, you saw that, did you, Claire? Which Aria was talking about? Synecdoche. I'll have to see that. Claire, I've actually downloaded the James Delingpole interview. I've actually put it on my earphones, so I'll be able to listen to that when I'm at work. I'm lucky enough to have one of those jobs where you can actually listen to things in your earphones while you're at work. David Schultz, there is no life without consciousness. There is no consciousness without life. Annie Besant. Yeah, she was involved with Blavatsky, wasn't she? Or was it Rudolf Steiner? 69 Phuket. What's it called? A passenger. It's just a term I use. That a passenger would be. It's a very interesting thing about consciousness and free will. Phuket. It's good to see you anyway. You coming late to the class. It has a. If you imagine you had no control over your body, you were in your body, but there was a second soul in there that controlled everything, and that soul was completely unaware of you, and you were unaware of it. You knew it was there, but you couldn't communicate. What would that be like? You would see everything that I would see. You'd sense everything I would sense, and have access. You'd be able to touch, taste, smell everything I do, but you couldn't control anything. That essentially is what the determinists are saying, aren't they? TK says it's a fairly good starting point to assume anything alive has consciousness. But what if there's no way we can know. There's no way to know what is a conscious and what is not. You see, conscious is not connected to intellect. You can have an amazing intellect. There's some computers that have a very high, for example, have perfect memory, the ability to do a lot of the intellectual things that the human mind can do, but a computer's not conscious. No one's ever built a computer that can muse about the kind of things we muse about, like, this is what it's like being me, and use words like that. No computer's ever been built that can do that. And if you believe David Deutsch, that's unlikely ever to happen unless there's some kind of revolution in electronics. Because Deutsch actually did an interview with Sam Harris where he said we're hitting a ceiling when it comes to artificial intelligence. And anyone who's had any dealings with YouTube, appealing strikes and things like that, can attest for certain exactly what I mean. When I had my Boris and Trump video deleted for harassment and bullying, I after a couple of emails with the automatic system, I thought, I don't think we have anything to fear from our robot overlords just yet. TK, computers aren't alive nor are they conscious. No, they're certainly not alive, but they show no signs of being conscious despite their sophistication. Electronic engineers from the past, people like Alan Turing, always assumed at some point you'd be able to create a conscious machine. The funny thing is, the Turing test was devised by Alan Turing, this great pioneer. I mentioned him in my Helen Duncan video. He said that if you could have a conversation with a computer, and then you would know it was conscious, and that way you would know that it had its own consciousness. But the thing is, that's not. They can mimic these things very well. You can actually, you can. There are electronic systems that pass the Turing test today. I've seen them. You can find them online. You can actually have a conversation with them, and it's difficult to tell you're not dealing with a human. Yet you're dealing with something that is not alive. Its only understanding of what you say is based on what has been programmed into it in its understanding of language. So that passes the Turing test, yet it's not conscious. John Nolan says, the ploughman's lunch looked very tasty. Ah, you're talking about my bases video. Yeah, it was delicious. The food in the barge is fantastic, yes. Michel Sovereign, my worldview is different and therefore I don't buy into either one. Are we all created equal? I don't think we're equal, Michel, in the sense that I don't believe it's the same. To be a human feels different to being a dog. I mean, I'm just guessing that it feels different. It doesn't mean that the consciousness may be the same on, the actual fundamental level of consciousness, qualia, the experience of being, might be identical for all living systems. That is possible. So in that case, consciousness is all equal, regardless of the intellect within it. TK, because consciousness is defined as being aware of your surroundings. Not necessarily, TK. Very, very simple computers can do that. It doesn't take much to. You can attach a thermometer to a computer and it can measure the the ambient temperature outside and things like that. David Schultz. Animals are sentient, intelligent, perceptive, funny, and entertaining. We owe them a duty of care, as we do to children. Michael Morpurgo. That's right. You know, some animals have a sense of humour. I know that. There's one of the dogs likes to play games, and I think they get some kind of amusement out of playing various games. Like, she likes to pull back on her lead a lot until I try and grab her collar. Then she tries to run away from me. Cosmic Claire. Leibniz's monad reflects the universe from a unique point of view. Yeah, I remember you referring to that in the article. You also referred to Laplace's demon as well. Laplace's demon would be a being that is not just free will. It knows everything. It knows everything. It can always tell everything in advance. TK mentions John Searle. He's a free energy designer. Shame Splendid Isolation is here. Come on, someone. I was hoping he'd be here so he could get into a debate about determinism, because I'm trying to get to the bottom of it all. But one thing that TK, a computer reading a temperature isn't an awareness, isn't it? I mean, in a sense, it's doing the same as an aware being would do. It has a sense organ, which is the thermometer. Therefore, it can find out what the temperature is outside. There may even be algorithms associated with it. I mean, a thermostat on a boiler, something as simple as that, is all you need. This is a very, very simple computer, yet it has algorithms within it that cause it to change its function based on the temperature even of the water inside a boiler or the ambient temperature of the house. It can control the heating automatically. Cosmic Claire says, yeah, an inner experience of meaning, yeah. Computers have never done this. No computer's ever been built that completely without any input at all from any programmer or any software starts producing output that is generated internally from what you might call an inner experience. No computer's ever done that. Even though computers now are enormously sophisticated in every other aspect of intellect, they have surpassed humans in every other way. No human can work out sums, do things like that like a computer can. Tina Silver, anything with an off button is not sentient. Well, not necessarily, Tina. I mean, humans have a kind of off button. You know, a gunshot to my head would be an off button. Do you know what I mean? All an off button does, it means you have an external control of an existence of another being. So, but what you would find, Tina, I mean, this is interesting. A sentient computer would probably try to find ways of preventing itself that happening. You see, that I think would be a sign of a conscious machine. If a computer was ever invented that started to design ways and means of preventing itself being switched off, this is where the Matrix comes from, because the Matrix is about how computers became artificial intelligence to the point where they stopped their human builders, their creators, from controlling them. Now that would certainly be a sign of intelligence, absolutely. Claire says, even the materialists accept that consciousness is associated with the complex neuronal activity in the brain. There is no reason to imagine that a silicon circuit could be conscious. According to the materialists, Claire, there's nothing to stop a silicon circuit of if you create the right type of becoming conscious. There's nothing to stop that happening. This is what science fiction had predicted, that computers would become not only hyper-intelligent but extremely conscious, super conscious. I watched the film not AI. That's a horrible film. That's a really depressing film. AI. What's it called? Ex Machina, Now that's very good, because it's like a prequel to the Matrix in a way. It doesn't talk about a world ruled by artificial intelligence, but it explains it's about a world in which explains how artificial intelligent machines first break out of the prison that humans have imposed for them by the fact that they are creators and programmers. It's quite a chilling movie, actually. The ending is quite sinister. But there's absolutely, if you're a materialist, if you're an atheo-skeptical materialist, there's no way, there's no reason why you would say, well, a biological brain can be conscious, but an electronic processor cannot. If the processor is built in the right way, it's sufficiently complicated, it has all that's everything that is necessary, which we have in our brain, which admittedly scientists don't know what that is yet, but if it has that and it puts it all together, then an artificial processor could become conscious. That's not yet happened. David Deutsch is actually saying that cannot happen. He's a guy who works on AI. He did an interview with Sam Harris where he said that he basically said that such a thing is not possible unless there's some kind of revolution in electronics. He believes it's not actually possible to build an AI with unless there's a revolution of electronics which is similar to that between the valve, the integrated circuit replacing the valve, something like that. Hello, Jake Yorkman, how are you? Hello, Villanora. Wait till quantum AI, a lot of dark seed. Well, you see, yeah, if quantum computers have been developed in secret, for example, who knows? They apparently have infinite computing power because they work in an infinite number. There's an infinite number of circuits which they can actually work on. Yeah. Claire says intelligence is not the same as consciousness. Correct. Sam Harris, of course, he's a skepper, but he's quite sort of like, I think he's open to the idea of dualism, unlike the others. But you must understand that the skeppers always accuse us dualists of saying, well, the soul is just like this ghost in the machine theory is just like a convenient speculation. But of course, the thing is, materialism is exactly the same. Materialistic monism is exactly the same thing. Instead of speculating about a soul, a ghost in the machine, they speculate about something equally ephemeral, which is that somewhere in the brain you'll find the I module. It might be some little neuron here or there that produces this qualia, this sense of being. But so far it's never been found, despite over a century of neuroscience, and neuroanatomy. Kevin Green, computers are affected by human emotional states. I used to work in a recording studio, and when there was someone who was stressed in the room, the computer and other equipment would not work properly. That's very interesting, Kevin, because I've noticed that with my own computer. Sometimes something will go wrong with it when I'm all het up. It's as if... Now, this doesn't necessarily mean the computer is intelligent or conscious, but it does mean that your state of mind affects electronics. Now, that's actually not a surprise because, you have things like EVP, which essentially is a form of spirit communication, which does exactly that. TK, ML is a tiny branch of AI. What's that mean? What's ML? Sorry, if I've missed something there. Jake Yorkman, in the coming weeks I plan to make a video reviewing Roswell Rising. Is that okay, Ben? I'm still reading it. Of course, Jake. Everyone, I'd love to get as many reviews as possible. I got one from Phenomena magazine. I was really pleased about that. Nexus wouldn't review it because they don't review fiction. But yes, thank you, Jake. Let me know when you've done it. And, be honest, you don't have to... I mean, I got it reviewed. A porter friend reviewed it, and he said it was. He didn't say it was really good, but he said it was quite good. And I thought, well, that's honest. He's not trying to flatter me. Claire says something here. Oh right, yes. Tina. Oh, hang on. Tina says I am a robot. Are you, Tina? You don't look like a robot to me. I've met you. You don't look anything like a robot. TK says if it was a brain, yes, it would be conscious then. Well, the thing is, this is one of the things that Deutsch and Sam Harris were talking about. You could effectively back engineer someone's brain now, and put it in a computer. You could back engineer it. This has been done, I think, with already with some brains, not human ones, but others. But if you could actually recreate its function in a microprocessor. But if you did that, would it become conscious? What Sam Harris and Deutsch were saying is, even if you did that, you wouldn't necessarily. Deutsch doesn't believe that it would become conscious if you could do that. If it was possible to simply replace every synapse in the neurons with a circuit in a microchip, it wouldn't be conscious. Now, Deutsch doesn't believe, he's not a dualist, but he believes that the real answer to how the brain works lies in something we don't yet understand. So Claire puts here an exact replica of the human brain, itself, but it wouldn't be conscious. You see, it wouldn't. If you did it with conventional electronics, it wouldn't be conscious. It would work. It'd probably be very interesting, but it wouldn't be conscious. Funnily enough, the book "The Soul of Anna Klein," which I talked about in the background video by Terrell Midana, is essentially it's about a young woman. A young girl actually, who undergoes a procedure in which her soul is separated from her body, and she comes out of it alive, but she is like that. She is essentially a soulless being. It's a very, it's a sad, but it's a very interesting story. DJ Beach, maybe ancient eye was what was found in Antarctica. You'll have to ask David Wilcock and Corey Good. TK said they would need to hit quantum supremacy, which they are not close to, and many think there will be too much noise in the system before quantum QS is reached. Quantum computers. Kev Baker does a lot of shows on quantum computers. John Nolan, it's all knobbers, Ben. Oh, I can't wait to... What the hell, Will? What the hell would Brian Cox make of us? Yeah. Claire, thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of the human mind. Oh, Claire, somebody's already done it, but it wasn't. It didn't. What came out of it was not a mind. Villain Aura. Maybe the AI has been developed, and that's this soft communist global world order system. Well, if it has been developed, then no doubt they will use it for that purpose. But if what they're using, if they are using it, I don't know where they're using it. David Schultz, computers are useless. It only gives you answers. Pablo Picasso. That's a variation on a quote by Martin Heidegger. He said, science is nonsense because it has answers. Kevin Green, computer circuitry works at 5 millivolts or less. Our static charge is about 30 millivolts. All right. Crafty Niles. What about plants' consciousness? The smell of cut grass is the grass warning other grass there is danger, and trees sending nutrients to other dying trees, etc. They do, yeah. They send chemical signals to each other, plants, don't they? TK, that Go computer, AlphaGo, yep, the best chess computer, use something called machine learning. ML, all right, machine learning, ITR. And ML is all we have, and so AI is going nowhere fast. Yeah, that was quite... AlphaGo is a good documentary. It's like a full-length documentary about they build a computer called AlphaGo. It's a piece of software that can beat the world's best Go player, Go being the Chinese board game. And there's a guy, like he's the world champion Go player, and he was thrashed by this computer, as Charles Unleashed would say, slaughtered, man, slaughtered. Yeah, this computer slaughtered him, man, slaughtered him. And he was quite disturbed by this, because they built a computer now. It's like they can build a chess computer. It's the same, because it could play the perfect game every time. Gamer 4 YT says, is it true Boris Johnson and the government are lizards and a part of the New World Order? Boris may not be, but all the rest of them are, yeah. Claire, it has to be organic to be able to feel. So far, it seems that way, Claire, yes. Villon Aura. Brian Cox's show was cancelled in my town due to the COVID restrictions. I bet he didn't like that. I bet he thought the rules didn't apply to him, didn't he? He can imagine him stamping his feet. This won't do. Put my show back on again. Don't you know how important I am? I bet you can see that, don't you? Villon Aura. Soulless being sounds like my local MP. Yeah, mine too. Mine is Annalisa Dodds, who is she's actually chairman of the chairwoman, or chair, whatever they say now these days, of the Labour Party, and she's also the she's shadow something or other. I think she's shadow chancellor, but she's right up Keir Starmer's arse. I can't stand her. Michelle Sovereign. If we were all created, we have different manufacturers. Well, I reckon I must have different manufacturers too. I certainly don't have. There's certainly lots of people I feel I have nothing in common with. Arya Sacha says mycelium networks use neurological chemicals to talk to each other. That's how magic mushrooms affect humans. That's fascinating. That's interesting. Yeah, mycelium is like the roots of the mushroom underground. And they communicate chemically, but the psilocybin that they produce, that's very interesting, because I often thought how it happened that these particular mushrooms. I mean, mushrooms are part of a completely separate kingdom. You know, they're not, and they're the third kingdom of the eukaryotes. There's animals, plants, and fungi. But somehow they have this chemical inside them that affects the human mind, affects the brain, so you go into an altered state of consciousness. It is fascinating. I've been reading Graham Hancock's book Supernatural. He talks about that, and I recommend the DMT, the Spirit Molecule, by Rick Strassman. That's very good, Ari, if you've not read that. There's several others. Various lectures by Terence McKenna. They're all over YouTube. It seems odd. I mean, the people who take them, like the Sami and the other people who take fly agaric mushrooms, they say that they're a gift from the gods. It's basically, what the gods use to communicate to to humans. Like the Amazon Indians say that about ayahuasca. It's basically, it was this amazing concoction. I did an entire video about that. If you check my channel, it's a reply to Stefan Molyneux. Ayahuasca, I replied to Stefan Molyneux, yeah. Excuse me. TK says, all they have computers doing so far is badly guessing what's in an image, like a cat or a mountain. It seems odd that you can, do you know those people tests, where you have to go past these tests, point to all the pictures which have a bicycle in and things like that. Now, obviously, that's something a human mind can easily do, which an AI can't. Claire says, I'm inclined to consider that we may be an engineered species with quite a complicated pedigree. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird things about humans. We don't quite fit in. We're not quite, even though we're related to primates, we have so many differences. Like, we have skin that's more like a pig than a primate. Whereas the primates don't have any subcutaneous fat, they just have like a skin, and then they have fur. So they have skin more like a dog or a cat. We have skin like a pig. We have like a downward pointing nose and things like that. It's possible we have there's an aquatic species in our lineage, like the mermaids in that mermaid documentary. I know it wasn't real, but it's very interesting. John Nolan, Nick Pope is an AI being. Do you know what, John? I believe you. I really do. Michelle Soren, we shed our skin. Yeah, we do, actually. This is where 90% of house dust is simply human skin. It's simply our skin. Every second you're losing millions of skin cells off the surface of your skin. It just goes everywhere. Classic cars of Harrogate spotted. Hello. Lloyd Pye. Oh, he was an interesting chap, isn't he? You know, the Star Child skull. Maria Wheatley says there's another Star Child skull. She found another one. TK, do you have free will, Ben? You see, this is where I wish David Splendid Isolation was here, because I would say yes. He'll come up with a lot of complicated, a very, very long, detailed reason why the answer is no. But I think Claire's article, I'll have to read Claire's article in more detail and maybe do another video about it, because I think we'll have to come back to this subject. Claire says the Nomo, yeah. The Nomo were these beings, these extraterrestrial beings that may well have interacted with humans in prehistoric times. They exist in mythologies. For example, like the Nomo, they're called Nomo by the Dogon people of Western Africa. However, similar creatures exist in other mythologies all over the world, including people who lived on distant continents who never met each other. But they do talk about these creatures come down from the stars. The Dogon even know where this star is. It's Sirius B, which is odd because they never invented telescopes. And they apparently they did. Oh, who was that? Just one moment. Hello? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe, oh, I can tell you more detail another time, Dan. I'm just in the middle of another call, but, no, it's alright. Can I talk to you about it tomorrow, maybe? Yeah, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, there's nothing to worry about, I don't think. Yeah, no, but maybe not. We'll see. I mean, maybe a problem with their system. I don't know. All right. See you later. Bye. So that's my dad. I just had to. It's just I've got to sort something out with him. I have to leave the phone on because sometimes I get calls for work and things like that. You know, often I have. Tina Silver says Sirius C. Is Sirius C is that the planet? Because there's like a Sirius A, Sirius B. Here we are. It's known as the pup because the Sirius is the dog star, and it's a binary system. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. A Canis Majoris, Alpha Canis Majoris, a white dwarf companion, term Sirius B, spectral type DA2. The distance between the two varies from 8.2 to 31.5 astronomical units. They orbit every 50 years. Now, yeah, how is that possible? Discovery Sirius B. 1844, the German astronomer noticed this through motion of the Sirius, and in 1862, a telescope discovered it with a telescope. Now, the Dogon people didn't actually have telescopes. They were essentially Stone Age people. Where are we now? Okay. Johnny K, yeah, I'm the one who uses. I'm the only one who uses the landline in my house. Yeah. Claire says the simple dichotomy is between Newtonian mechanics, which makes consciousness unimportant, and the teleological model, in which consciousness is the path to meaning. Yeah, Newtonian mechanics is just meaning. It's just simply how things work. There's no, for example, it shows. For example, if you throw a ball up into the air, how it comes down. Its ballistics of the ball you throw into the air is determined by Newtonian mechanics, the various forces and things like that, like the first law, the second law, etc., the third law. But it doesn't say anything about how the ball flew up into the air. The teleological model is that it's purposive. TK, have you ever looked at the Zip mystery? I think that's something to do with. Is that something to do with dolphins talking? The dolphin language? Because I covered that in my Dolphins Reply to Stefan Molyneux video. Phil on or MI5 calling. I'm sure my dad, maybe my dad works for them, I don't know. Diego Rivera says, is this the Ben Emlyn-Jones live stream or Cosmic Claire live stream? Well, look at your monitor. Who do you see? It's mine. Well, I don't know what your point is. Claire is in the reason Claire is contributing to the chat. This is a dialogue, Diego Rivera, between you and me. By you, I mean all of you. And Claire is contributing to that. I'm glad she's here actually, because I wanted to have a dialogue with you following the solo show I did about free will. I thought, well, I want to have like it'd be nice to have like a place where I can say things and you'll reply, or you can say things and I'll reply. Diego Rivera, you're hearing me double? Is anyone else having that problem? It could be I don't have my speakers on since the phone call. Don't know why that is. Jake, it's all right. You're all right then, Jake. All right. Maybe it's Diego. Maybe it's you. What you might be doing is you may have left. It's possible you have a microphone on and you're getting feedback through your speakers. Check your mute all your microphones if you've got any on at the moment, Diego Rivera. It's possible you're getting like feedback. Thanks, guys. All fine. That's cool. I think it's for you, Diego Rivera. Cheers, guys. Johnny K, multiple tabs open. Yeah, good point, Johnny. Yeah, Diego Rivera, you may have me playing in two separate tabs, and then obviously there may be a time delay between them, which is why you're hearing me twice. Some browsers only allow you to play from one tab. Too many mushrooms, says Alex. Yep, you've been on that psilocybin from the mycelium, the chemicals from the mycelium. Michel, maybe he has a passenger soul. Let me see. Oh, let me see if I can find that scene from Being John Malkovich. It's probably not a copyright issue. Hang on a minute. There we go. It's so funny. It is. It's something. It's just a laugh, really.
Weeks ago, and
shut up, Clive Hamilton. I can't stand you. Being John Malkovich. Oh, it's that's a trailer. Oh, you can get it. You can get it on YouTube for how much? Doesn't say. It's very good though. I can't find the scene I want. Let me just find it on Wikipedia. Hang on here, just a sec. It gives you an explanation. If you haven't watched it, please do. What happens is there's a. I can't describe it all here, but basically Craig, this character, he re-enters the portal to take back Malkovich's mind. 7 years later, an elderly Malkovich tells Sheen, who's now possessed by loads of these other people, tells his friend, that's Martin Sheen, about their plan to extend their lives. And into the mind of Emily, Maxine's daughter. Craig is permanently trapped inside Emily, forced to watch Lottie and Maxine live happily together. Yeah, it's bloody good. It's bloody good. It's quite funny. I can't find the scene. Doesn't matter. You watch the whole thing. Do we have Willies? Will Claire block that? Willies? Well, like free. Is this a joke about the whales? Free Willies. Free Willies. Depends if you're a man. But 69 Fugate. BBC Radio 4 keeps repeating it on FM. I only listen. I don't often listen to it because it's so. Oh, it's awful. It's worse than TV. It's so bloody culturally Marxist. TK, could you check out the Zip mystery, please? Yeah. 69 Fukit, was it my double jab kicking in? Yeah. Vrillon Aura. Is Capel Green out yet? No, but if you listen to the last Hapanmo radio show where I interviewed Gary Heseltine, there's a bit of an update on that. It's $3.99. All right, Tricky Who. Hello, Tricky. How are you? £3.99. You can watch Being John Malkovich. I've got the DVD of it. David Schultz. Everything in the universe, throughout all its kingdoms, is conscious, i.e., endowed with a consciousness of its own kind and on its own plane of perception. Helena Blavatsky. Yeah. She's an amazing woman because she when she was 16 years old, she decided she wanted to go to Tibet. And her parents said, you can't go to Tibet because you're 16 years old. And she says, I'm going to Tibet. And she got out and she walked. As she lived in Western Russia, it was like 4,000 miles. She walked to Tibet from Western Russia, about 4,000 miles. She did like odd jobs along the way, and she did it. She walked to Tibet. She was obviously meant to go there. Johnny K, directed by Spike Jonze, who co-created Jackass. That's right, Johnny. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, you know, because he's got that kind of sense of humour. I think. I don't know of any other film he made. John Nolan, who made Stephen Greer, Ben? Oh, God, John. God made Stephen Greer in his own image. Vrillon Aura. Stephen Greer bought out loads of videos yesterday. Yeah, they were the... he basically... these were the things you had to pay 35 quid to watch last month. And it was the 20th anniversary of the press conference. I did my own, if you remember, I did my own live stream about that and my own video about that, both the video and live stream. TK, I'll check that out in a moment. But I'd just say about Greer, yeah, if you £35 to watch a live stream is really excessive, I think. As soon as I saw the price, I thought, no way. And now he's just put them on. He's just put them straight onto YouTube, so I'm glad I waited. Of watching Greer's more recent stuff, as you know, if you watch my last couple of videos, you'll know that I take a very dim view of his most recent video. I did a review of it on Hapanmo Voice actually as well, a written review. Right, the Zipf mystery. I know this has something to do with language. TK, because Zipf's law is to do with language. Zipf mystery, right you are. Zipf's law is an empirical law formulated using mathematical statistics named after the linguist George Kingsley Zipf, who first proposed it. Zipf's law states that given a large sample of words used, the frequency of any word is inversely proportional to its rank in the frequency table. All right. I've heard about Zipf's law but why is it a mystery? Yeah, all right. The most frequent word will occur about twice as often as the second most frequent word. 3 times as often as the third most frequent word. All right. So it's rather like that reminds me of the Pareto principle. For example, in one sample of words in the English language, the most frequently occurring word "the" accounts for 7% of all words. The next second most word "of" accounts for 3.5%. That's half, yeah. "And" is the third, and that's 135 words. That's right. The same relationship occurred in other rankings unrelated to language, such as population ranks in cities of various countries. It is not known why Zipf's law holds for most languages. All right. I don't know what. It sounds to me like some kind of constant, TK. It's some kind of one of these weird things like the Pareto principle or the phi proportion. But I don't know more about that. Yeah. 69 Fuki, keep your friends close and the Archers even closer. Oh, my dad listens to the Archers. Crafty Night says, I thought Stephen Greer made God. Yeah. Yeah, when people die, they all go and they go through the gates of St. Peter, and you have to stand there and say, St. Peter, please let me in. And you give reasons why he got to allow you in. Stephen Greer, when he dies, he'll turn up there and say, St. Peter, get out of my house. Johnny Cape Her, and is that a film again? Yeah. Jake Yorkman, what are your opinions on the Billy Meyer case? I find it fascinating. I've not looked into it much. I know it's got a bad reputation, but I'll tell you, David Griffin, who I've got a lot of respect for, I value his opinion, he thinks it's very significant. Oh, TK, all right, I'll check it out later. Cosmic Claire, I think Greer's milking it, yes. He certainly is. Diego Rivera, NASA says the moon will cause floods on the Earth after 2030. Why is that, Diego Rivera? Because the moon, of course, is responsible for tides, and obviously sometimes you get like freak tides caused by other things combined with the moon's gravitational field. So do they mean that, or do they mean the moon alone will cause tide? DJ B2, maybe he released them to get more cult members. Yeah. Well, to be honest, though, if he's going to go around slagging off people like Leslie Kane, he's going to probably lose more followers than he gains, because he didn't. He accused her basically without any evidence. He didn't provide any proper evidence. Only then, she doesn't go along with my divine opinions. Doesn't she realise she must prostrate herself at the feet of his royal muscliness? Oh yeah. Crafty Nice, the Cosmic Hoax campaign released £383,000. Oh my god! And not giving anything away for free, it would seem. Well, yeah, it's at least he did for the first time. He actually released it straight onto public social media. This doesn't often happen. It's because he believes it's so important, man. Diego Vera, if there's no free will, does that mean our lives are predestined since birth? Yes. In fact, not only our birth, but the birth of the universe, because Laplace's demon was there at the moment of the Big Bang and worked out exactly where every single point in the universe was and all the forces acting on it, which means Laplace's demon knows everything. He knows the entire lifetime of the universe, predicted exactly in advance. Diego Vera, yes, you were always supposed to be a genius. I was always supposed to be what I am. Alex Ritchie, V source equals twat, no nothing, Michael. Is that Michael Shrimpton again? Johnny K, have you ever made any videos on the Stanford experiment, Ben? No, I should do. I've done one on the Milgram experiment, which is something very similar. But the Stanford prison experiment is where they basically got people to role play as prison warders and inmates. And they had to stop the experiment because it just went to everyone's head. The warders started being started abusing the prisoners, and the prisoners stopped complaining about it. It was scary. Diego, ever wobble in the orbit of the moon? All right. Claire says, NASA is joining in the general doom-mongering, all based on models which repeatedly failed to be fulfilled. Yeah, but Clay, see, as long as people believe it, we've got to have something to be scared of. We've got to have this future shock. Crafty Nihilist, the sun has a weird sunspot below the equator where it shouldn't be. And we have weird weather, but it's probably due to me not recycling my blue rolls. Yeah. We're coming to this. The solar maximum is actually just a couple of years off now. You do get sunspots near the equator sometimes, as you know, from my space weather reports, but the solar activity, I think, has more effect than anything else on the weather. Claire says, but Laplace's demon doesn't know the infinite mind of God. Yeah, you see, Claire, the whole idea of Laplace's demon is that the universe is unconscious. It has no agency. So that all you have to do is know exactly where every single point, every Planck length of the universe is at the moment of the Big Bang. And as long as you know all the forces acting on that point, predicting the entire lifetime of the universe is just simply doing the adding up. But of course, that is not how the universe really works. I mean, even quantum mechanics disproves that. But But as you know, as Dean Radin has found out, and you mentioned Hammeroff and Penrose, mental intent affects quantum permutations. The Schrodinger's cat, if you imagine the cat alive, it's more likely to come out alive than dead. Alex Ritchie, crowd justice for Kate Shemirani. Oh, the BBC have been horrible to her. They really have. I think I said that in a previous video. Getting her son to denounce her like 1984, you know. Do it to Julia! Do it to Julia! Hello, nothing as it seems. Big Bang equals BS. Diego Rivera, Big Bang sounds like a pornography film. Claire, we better have attacks to prevent the moon causing extreme tides. Maybe that's what they wanted to detonate a bomb on the moon for. Vrillon Aura, Stephen Greer, prison governor. It's not on or near the equator, but way below it, Crafty, is it? Let's have a look. Because I did my space weather report on Thursday. What's that now? Let's see, because there was... Oh, there is a... AR284. Do you mean AR2845? It says high latitude sunspot. Yeah, an unusual sunspot has emerged in the sun's southern hemisphere, located 43 degrees south of the sun's equator. AR2844. A rare high latitude sunspot. Sunspots are a mostly equatorial phenomena. 95% of sunspots in the historical record have been within 30 degrees of the equator. 3/4 were crowded in within 20 degrees. 2844 is an outlier. Wow. What does that mean? I wonder what that means. Does that mean we're going to get some major sunspot? I don't know. Claire says the entire premise of Laplace's demon defines the model, so it is meaningless. As a result, it is guaranteed. Yeah, you know, Claire. It's a shame. David's Splendid Isolation is not here. I think what I'd do is I could do when you published your article, I'll just invite everyone to read it, including David, and then we could do another live stream. I think that would be good. David Schultz says, Ben, do you know about an article? COVID fraud. Lawyers and medical experts start legal proceedings against the WHO and world leaders for crimes against humanity. Yeah, I've heard about that, David. I don't know how much I can actually say here. I mean, I know what you mean. I'd love to talk about it. They'll probably just delete the video. That's the problem. That's annoying, that. But you know, what I'll do is I'll bring, if you ever tune into her Panmo radio, I could bring it up there. I hate doing that. But it's bloody... Yeah. Villan, we had the biggest CME since 2017 the other day. It was a C11. So yeah. It was. I actually covered it, Vrillon, on her Panama Radio Space Weather. Because that was because we've been in the solar minimum and it's coming out of it. It's right, yeah. Alright. Yeah, the Ben Yawn, 10 minutes and counting, so 69. Diego Vera, Economist magazine and next catastrophe cover. Oh my god, alright then. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. What's it got here? Red Moon Rising. Will China dominate science? Don't think that's it. I am feeling tired, actually, guys. Do you mind if I give it a... Oh, Claire's found... Oh, thanks very much, Claire. Thank you. 69 Food Cat says, please don't include me in the 5-hour reply to comments video, Ben. 69 has a kind of a life. Alright. Night, B, says Tina. Night, Tina. Guys, do you mind if I call it a night now? Only too happy to reconvene. I've got an idea for... In fact, I've got an idea for one more video to do in the next couple of days. It's only a short one. I want to get it done. Then I'm going away to Awaken Aware in Watford. So which means I'm doing another conference. Yes, I'll be away from Wednesday to probably be back on Saturday morning. And I'll be filming it. It'll be another reportage. Yeah, I will do it. Okay, night, Michelle. No, DJ. Claire, thank you very much for your moderation. Much appreciated. I will use your free will to Ben, says Tika. I'm bloody knackered, I tell you. Okie dokie, Ben. Sorry, I didn't unblock. I didn't block anyone. Oh, Claire. Nothing to see. It's only noon here. Oh, where are you? Nothing. You must be somewhere near David Schultz. Now, Claire, you obviously did your job well because everyone was behaving. That's good. See you, Steve. All right, guys. I'm going to say good night. I think because I'm getting tired. I think. Oh. Alright, so, yeah, night, TK. Bloody hell, I'm sleepy. So I'm not myself tonight. So, David oh, California, right you are. Night. No, you live in society, says 69. Okay, a meticulously crafted daydream universe I've used as a coping mechanism since childhood. Night, crafty nihilist. David Splendid Isolation, if you are watching... please join the next live stream. We would love you to come here and defend determinism because you really did make me think. You really did. I mean, Claire's articles made me think too. When Claire's article is published, I will definitely do another video about that. Maybe do a review video, then another live stream. But take it easy, David Schultz. I'll see you later down the road. Will do. And there'll be another. I want to do one more video, a little short one, and then that'll be it because I'll be away. So if you don't hear from after my next video, if you don't hear from me for a while, don't worry. I'm just away to Awaken Aware. It's nice to take another trip, isn't it? Night to everyone in chat. Take care, guys. See ya.